person, but a nice chunk of them will propose to the girl. Interestingly, some fun facts about Love is Blind. There's a ton of cast members that really get little to no airtime because they didn't make any sort of real connections in the pods. I literally can't even imagine how much footage the editors have to go through, but if you look up the cast, if you look up the cast, you'll notice not only the people that like you recognize from the show, but a lot of people that you're like, who the heck is this person? So the cast of characters that we finished up with was an interesting one, and apparently too, like in the first season of Love is Blind, they don't actually like live. There's not like a house, like, you know, it only ever shows them in like a living room, like kitchen area, or the pods. Never like, they're never like not ready or in their pajamas or something like that. Season 1, they were literally in like cots and trailers, like for those 10 days. Season 2, they put everybody up in a hotel to make sure they're more comfortable. I'm assuming they did the same for season 3. So like, seems like torture for the people in season 1. I actually met 2 of the people from Love is Blind the last season. I met 2 of them at Coachella. It was Danielle, and I don't remember her husband's name. They were still together at the time. This was April of this year. They, I think, now are divorced. I think there's like one Love is Blind couple standing from like season 1, and I don't remember their names, but okay, so this season, just all the like juicy things. So number 1, let's talk about Andrew. Andrew was one of the people who seemed very suave, right, to the girls. He wasn't fooling me. He was, I don't know, he probably talked a lot of bullshit about, like, tantric sex and things, and I don't know, just, he was kind of full of shit, and made himself seem like he was really genuine and whatever. He, proposed to, so he got some screen time, and he proposed to one of the girls, and which was Nancy, and she said no because she was having a connection with another guy. After he proposes, he's on his little like talking head interview thing, and they're like, you know, asking him to talk about the situation, and he goes, oh, do you mind, like, should I just get like can I just get like my eye drops really quick? And they're like, sure. And it's so awkward, and he grabbed his eye drops and he's like putting his eye drops on his eyes, and then he's like, okay, let's go, and he's like pretending to cry and being like, I just haven't had feelings like that for anybody and ever. So number 1, what he was trying to do is like fake emotion, but what I think he was doing was like a double whammy. What I think is he was trying to fake that emotion to look like he didn't give a fuck, but really he was so salty and so embarrassed that So, yeah, that was strange. And then Nick Lachey at the reunion, like, made fun of him and, put eye drops in his eyes and stuff. And so that was very embarrassing, but not the only cringe moment in the show, because all of the people on it are cringe. Basically, like, it just seems to me that they want marriage as though it's a box to check off, right? A milestone to check off, almost even like a physical thing for them. Like, I want the day of my wedding, I want to be able to say I am not single. I want to be able to say that I'm married. They want that so much that they're willing to really marry a total stranger, just to have like the day and the ring and to be able to say this is my husband. But like, once all that shit's over, the cameras are gone, the wedding day's over, nobody really cares about your ring anymore. Like, it's just you and your significant other, who, by the way, are now legally bonded together. So, that's obviously not something to take lightly. And it's just like, I just think that's who this type of experiment preys on, is so many people are like that, where they want to get married, they want a person so bad. And I think really what all the people that go on this show have in common is they don't have a lot of, I guess, emotional intelligence. For me, I think the only two people really that were like the best out of the group that maybe were trying in a real way might be Raven and SK. So let's talk about them. So Raven and SK, first off, when I first saw Raven, and she was with Bartiz, and she was doing jumping jacks while he was like expressing his feelings to her. Now we realize he deserved it because he's a douche, but it was so awkward. Like, he's sitting there like pouring his heart out to her about like his family stuff, and she's sitting there doing jumping jacks, and it's like she was doing like exercise in these pods a couple different times, and that was really like embarrassing. Like, girl, we get it, like, you are a Pilates instructor, congratulations, honey, like, you have a hot body, we see you, we see. So that was very cringy to watch. So I was like, oh, I hate this girl, she's so annoying. But as the season progressed, I started to like her more. I still feel like she had a cocky attitude sometimes, to, again, like, as a defense mechanism. I think a lot of people do that. They can be nasty or overly not confident, but just like cocky or braggadocious, or again, her whole like Pilates thing was like what she leaned into so hard, because maybe she wasn't confident in other areas of herself and her personality, and like, that's, I don't know. Also, grain of salt with everything, because the producers and editors, and they can make things look how they want to make things look. So when I really actually liked her is when they all got together, right? Like, everybody was at the pool party, after everybody had been like, is it okay that I'm being this honest with you? She's like, yeah. They were clearly drunk having this conversation, and they were, I think, a lot of them were drunk in a lot of it, but they don't, like, show that. You know, in reality shows, it's like, when you're young, you're watching it, and you think, like, oh yeah, like, this is normal, da-da-da. When you're older, you're like, okay, they're wasted right here. So that was another couple that had issues at the pool party, was Colleen and Matt, and Cole and Zenab, I forget how to say her name. I'll call her Zay, because I know they were calling her Zay. Basically, Cole, also, you know, objectively cute, but just a child, went up to Colleen, who he initially was kind of chatting with, but then told her no. He went up to her and he was like, yeah, like, I would, you know, me and Zay are good, but, like, you know, physically, initially the connection wasn't there. Look at me, I'm like peeling my split end. And she's like, oh, like, well, who would your, like, type be? She fed into it. Whatever, it's fine. He was like, you. She's like, oh yeah, like, you would be my type too, like, whatever. And she went back and she told her fiance Matt about the conversation, and he was really upset because he had a girlfriend previously for a long time, and she cheated on him. So he has trust issues, and you could see he kind of has anger issues too, like, and he gets triggered very easily. So he wanted to break up and leave, whatever, and there was multiple times where you could see he was fishing for validation, like, what would you do if a guy came up to you at a bar, like, and hit on you now that we're together? Like, are you 6? Why are you asking that question? The fuck is she supposed to do? Tell him she's taken. So just the emotional maturity of these people is like, and their conversations, it's like crazy. So they ended up getting over that, which I think they were cute, and I think they really did like each other. And I think that was one of the, again, like, besides Raven and SK, I think Colleen and Matt really did and do like each other. Like, I just feel like they had good chemistry and physical chemistry, and, like, they were both kind of cute, and, like, I don't know, I just felt like they were a good match. With Raven and SK, I also think they were a good match, but I think it just took longer to, like, figure that out and get that connection, which really is normal. Like, they're in these pods for 10 days, and maybe they were only talking to each other seriously for, like, a week. So I don't think it's unnatural or unnormal or wrong that they didn't want to immediately, like, have sex or be all over each other, or, you know, whatever. It's like, this person's really a stranger to you. So I think also too, like, the fact that SK said no at the aisle, because he was just, like, being real about it, wasn't anything shallow, like how Bartiz said no to Nancy because he, like, wanted someone hotter. It was really just, like, logistically, I don't know if this is gonna, like, work out. They didn't really focus on this storyline a ton, or maybe they did and I was falling asleep. But I guess he had to move to California for something, and she wasn't able to do that, so he was just, like, being real. And he's like, I'm not trying to please the people that came here today. Like, I'm trying to do what's right. So I think it made sense that so I like them, and I'm rooting for them. I was so sad for his mom on the wedding day when he said no. I also, speaking of the wedding days, I thought it was hilarious when Nancy's family were like, fuck this dude, like, about Bartiz, and they were just like, why would he do this to her? I will say, like, they have to have the wedding, right? Like, they don't have a choice to do that. It's what is written into the show. So, like, yeah, why did we get everyone here to do this if he was just gonna say no? I mean, because you have to do that. But I think if it was me, I would have a conversation with the person first to be like, hey, like, I'm gonna say no, like, I'm just letting you know. And the fact that all of them were like, I didn't know what I was gonna say until I was like walking down the aisle, or that morning, like, that is just crazy. Do we hear how crazy that sounds? If you are not 110% sure that you want to marry someone weeks, months before your wedding, the answer is don't marry them. There's no time limit to marry a person. Like, the opportunity is not gonna go away. Like, why not just not do it and then date for 6 more months and then do it, or whatever? I mean, Jesus Christ, like, it's just insane. And I think the people that go on the show, it seems like they were committed to the goal, and it didn't seem like a ton of them were just like dying to like get on TV, or at least the ones that finished out the show. There was also Alexa and Brennan. I feel like he's just a pushover, and just like, I don't know, like a nice southern guy that like wants a wife, and he probably wouldn't be able to pull someone like her if it wasn't for the experiment. But I think he's just like happy or whatever, but he needs to make sure that he doesn't become her bitch, because I think that dynamic can happen sometimes with the guys that are too nice, and it can just be, it's bad for everyone, because then the woman starts to resent the guy for being such a pushover, and the guy resents the woman for being so nasty. So I don't know, I could see a little bit of that dynamic within them. But also in the same token, it could be like she needed someone that was a little softer, because it seems like with her family and her life and stuff, she could be maybe a little rough around the edges, materialistic, or, you know, whatever. So I'm curious to see like where people end up. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the infamous cuties scene. So with Cole, Zanab say at the reunion was like, you ruined my self-esteem, you mess with me, da da da. Here's the thing, Cole was very immature, like extremely immature. Secondhand embarrassment for a lot of the things he did with the Nerf gun. He's like shooting it at her, and yeah, just the way he speaks sometimes, and can't ever just be like serious, and it goes from like, I'm joking but I'm really not, to like, now I'm actually mad and I'm dead serious. Like, I don't know. So he has a lot to like grow up. Although I don't know, again, like, I don't expect much from like a 26-year-old man. But Zay was a little older, and it seemed throughout the season like she was it was like Team Zay. But then, like, after watching everything, I kind of got the feeling that she was kind of full of shit too. She was definitely too naggy, and there's a difference between trying to like his towels or like teach him how to season a piece of chicken, like, you know, being naggy about it and patronizing versus like being like, hey, you know, I would really appreciate if you made an effort to do this, da da da. So there's that. Plus, yes, like, he said things to her about, like, I don't know, she was so focused on the attractiveness thing, like, she was more focused on that than him. Like, number one, this girl is hot. Like, she kept comparing herself with Colleen. They literally look the same. They're both hot, like, same level of hotness. She's like, my body will never look like her. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, you're thin. Like, what? Not once did I ever look at her and think she was, like, heavy. Like, I don't know. She's clearly very insecure because she's telling this story about how she's, like, eating these two little clementines. And she said that she was eating a spoonful of peanut butter a day and almonds or something because she was so insecure about her weight. And it's like, then she started to eat because of Cole. And she's starting to eat these clementines. And he's like, oh, are you going to eat, like, both of those? And she's like, yeah, that's a serving size. Like, is that okay with you? And, like, you can just tell that they're on completely different pages. Like, he's not trying to body shame her in that moment or, like, tell her she shouldn't be eating these oranges. They're fucking oranges, number one. If he was concerned about weight and calories, like, you can eat a fucking 35 calorie clementine. Number two, he was like, oh yeah, like, save your appetite for dinner. And apparently the clock said like 4:45 and they were gonna go out to dinner and have steak. So he was just like making random meaningless conversation. It was like, oh, you're eating 2 oranges, like, make sure you save your appetite for dinner in like an hour. And she's taking it as, you're fat, you shouldn't eat those 2 oranges, which was such gaslighting and just miscommunication. And just, it just goes to show how two people can think like 2 completely different things out of the same situation just based on their mindset and other factors. So it's very frustrating to see that, because he was often immature and annoying, but in that moment he really didn't do anything, and she is clearly projecting her insecurities onto some of the interactions that they had with each other. She shouldn't, because she's a beautiful girl. So very confusing. So yeah, and then also this I found really interesting, and I don't know that we'll ever prove it who was right, but she was swearing that he got a girl's number at the bachelor party, and he was like, you are literally pulling that out of your ass. That is out of thin air. Like, he's like, that never happened. Like, we were at a rodeo, there was no girls, and just reading his body language and his like vibe, he genuinely seems like, whether he's lying to himself or not, that he thinks like that he's being genuine with his response when he's saying he did not do that. You know, you can tell when people are lying or they're bullshitting or like stretching the truth. It seemed like he was genuinely flabbergasted that she would just make this story up. So that was annoying too, because I felt bad and I felt like he was being really picked on during the reunion, and he like started sobbing at one point. He obviously was really feeling shitty and trying to be a better person in that moment, and I felt sorry for him in that, because everyone was attacking him and no one was saying anything bad about her or had his back, really. So yeah, so I'm sure they'll do a season 4. I really do not watch shows like this, guys. Love Island, Bachelor, you know, whatever. So I know someone might ask me to do another show next. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think I did watch Love Island. Is that the one with Harry Jowsey in it? I watched 1 season of that. But we'll see. We'll see if this video does amazing and you guys have requests for other similar shows. I will try to watch them. So